Welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute, your source of internet marketing inspiration.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute. I'm your host, John Henson, and this week I wanted to talk to you about something you can do to enhance your marketing, to generate some marketing content, and it's pretty easy to do, and that is hosting a regular webinar series. If you followed us for any amount of time, if you're on our mailing list, you know that we do monthly webinars ourselves. The topics are generally just education. We try to be more than just a marketing company. We try to really just be a resource for attorneys and other business owners out there. While our main service caters to solo and small firm attorneys, our marketing strategy overall can be applied across many different industries. We've had restaurant clients in the past. We've had CPAs, we've had landscapers, we've had consultants, architecture firms, all kinds of stuff. So our strategy is not, some secret hack just for lawyers. This is a marketing strategy that works across all kinds of industries. And so our aim is to just be a resource for business owners. It's mostly going to be attorneys because that's just the majority of the people that are on our list. But the webinars that we do, we have found that it's just a great source of information, and it allows us to connect with our audience. It allows us to get feedback from them and to interact with them. And that has its benefits in and of itself, but it also allows us to create some marketing content. It allows us to send out emails, getting people to register. It allows us to create social media posts around it. It allows us to put content up on our website when we post the webinars later down the road, and just all kinds of stuff. And it really allows us to build a little bit of a community there. And look, I'm not going to lie. I think our webinars are some of the best webinars in the entire marketing industry. I think especially during COVID and everybody really started doing webinars, a lot of them are boring. All right. It's people droning on and on and on. The presentations are bland. It's everything that you were taught not to do in high school and college. And yet everyone somehow ends up doing it that way. So, we try to be engaging and have some good energy on our webinars and make them interactive and stuff like that. And, we found that it works really well. And so how can you get that same sort of system going? All right. And it's actually pretty easy. All you really need is a platform to host the webinar and just a system in place to generate topics, create the presentation, and promote it. The platform. So for our webinars specifically, we use Zoho. Zoho's a much larger suite. So it's essentially it's like Clio, but for a lot of other businesses. There's a lot of integrations. There's a lot of apps in there. A lot of different things that we use it for. You can obviously use Zoom. There's a bunch of other ones. You could do a Google Hangout, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of options. Do a little bit of research. You can't really go wrong with any of them. It's all just about what those price points are, because I think Zoom charges a little bit extra for their webinar feature, but see what else is out there. See what sort of program that you want to use. Maybe you already are using one that already integrates with your CRM, and you may not have to pay any extra for it. The next thing is figure out what you're going to talk about. All right. This is one of the most important things. All right. You don't want to come with topics that aren't interesting, obviously, but you also, within picking a topic, you also want to figure out a way to present it that doesn't overwhelm people. And I know lawyers have a really hard time with this. You guys just want to get so deep into the weeds on a topic, cover every single possible scenario, and your answer to every question is, well, it depends. And I get that, but that's why, at least for our strategy and the content that we create for our clients, which is obviously geared towards their audience, non-lawyer audience, keep it surface level. All right. Cover the big bases. All right. Cover the main gist of a topic. Maybe you're a business lawyer and your webinar topic is covering the documents and the processes you need to start a business on the, legally start a business. If you're an estate planning lawyer, maybe it's just covering everything that a last will and testament does and does not cover. There's just so many different avenues there that you can take, but keep it surface level. All right. Your audience doesn't need to dig as deep as you do. All right. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of lawyers often forget. You can dig deep and get deeper into the weeds when someone comes to you and is ready to sign for a consultation and get into the nitty-gritty details of their specific case. That's totally fine. But when you're doing the marketing, when you're doing the educating, that's when you just keep it surface level. All right. You're showing off the expertise and warming everyone up in your audience to know that, hey, you are the expert. You can handle their case. You're the person that they should be working with. And this is just another great way to do that, these webinars. So pick your topics. Cool. Make sure your presentation's somewhat engaging. All right. You don't have to be a stand-up comedian. You don't have to be the greatest orator in all of history. All right. I'm not. I mean, I'm certainly not. I'm average at best. But I think, just frankly, I think what makes my webinars and the webinars that we do a lot better is, I go into them and I make sure that I have a very specific energy when I'm going into them. I'm upbeat. I'm engaged. My pace is really good. I'm not just sitting here looking at my slides, reading my slides verbatim. Look at this. Okay. This is what is going on here. Here we are here. And this is what you need to do. I sometimes might have a slight inflection in my voice, but that's boring, right? That's terrible, but that's almost every webinar you've ever heard. So just keep the energy up. All right. I'm a little tired after my webinars. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's mostly because I'm an introvert and being engaged and on like this is a little difficult for me. If you're more of an extrovert, if you're more of the energetic social type, that won't be an issue for you at all. But also spruce up your slides. If you've seen any of our webinars, I put some animated GIFs in there, some pretty deep references sometimes. That's not going to hit home for everybody, but it's fun for me. And that's how I stay engaged in the webinar, because I see my slides and I'm like, oh yeah, that was really good. I'm proud of myself for that one. So, do what you got to do to keep yourself engaged. Don't just worry about your audience, but do what you got to do to keep yourself engaged in the webinar as well. And then the last component of it is just make sure you're promoting it. Send out 3 or 4 emails to your list starting a couple of weeks before your webinar. Just say, hey, this is what we've got going on. Here's the link to register. Boom. And typically, what we do is we'll go 2 emails, usually the week before, and then we'll do another email the day before the webinar. And we usually get a pretty good response from that. And so make sure you're promoting it there, promote it on your social media, and just set those expectations, whether you do it quarterly, monthly, whatever. Start putting out those webinars. It's really a good way to engage with your audience. And really get out there, especially if, this is sort of the alternative to like going out and speaking. I know that is something that we also encourage, if you can, to just get out there and speak, but maybe you don't have that big of a network. Maybe where you are just isn't conducive for a lot of those events, So like if you can't go over to like churches to talk estate planning, elder law, stuff like that, if you can't get to networking meetings, business, chamber of commerce type stuff for any other type of networking, by all means, this is a great way for you to reach your audience. And also, to do those networking things, let your big referral sources and your, especially those professional referral sources know you've got these webinars going on. Maybe they'll promote it to their list. And so it could be a good lead generation tool for you in that regard, and a good referral tool. So huge opportunity there with webinars to really enhance your marketing and generate some business, but also just to really elevate your credibility and really show that you are the expert. And that's what our strategy is all about. It's maximizing those referrals and really showing that you are the expert that people need to work with. All right. Hope that's some good little inspiration for you guys. If you want to talk a little bit more, if you have some additional questions about potentially starting a webinar for your law firm, hit me up, John at spotlightbranding.com. I am happy to talk more about it, answer any other questions that you have. That's going to do it for us this week. Continue to check us out on Center Stage, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It's not iTunes anymore, but Apple Podcasts. Like and subscribe on YouTube channel. We've got so many places to consume some content and get some marketing advice and inspiration. So continue to check us out. We really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Please visit lawfirmmarketingminute.com for more information. We'll see you next time.